What do you see when you look at a dollar? Let me try and tell you a little bit about what I see. I see a belief system. I see a belief system that's been used throughout our so-called history to turn the natural exchange of energy between beings into an unnatural exchange of energy between beings. What I mean by that is that in a society where all of us shared freely our knowledge and expertise, our abilities, our energy to sustain our lives and those around us freely, voluntarily, there would be no need to exchange these as a form of energy in the form of currency. This is what drives materialism. And the symbology is all throughout it. Because it goes back to like 600 BC, the money changers of the Pharisees, Babylon. It's a slave system, Babylonian money magic. And its roots are drawn right in and on this. And this is just one of many forms it's taken. And the belief system is so strong now, they can get rid of all of this because it can be just simple digital zeros and ones, data, which is what most of it is already. But now it'll all be that because that's so much more easily controlled, as if this isn't a massive form of control and mind control of its own. Things are only getting worse. But on this dollar, right at the top, the Federal Reserve note, it's just a note. It's not even an IOU, it's a you owe us. Just for using this, us, we the ones that print these off, that made up this money magic system that just gave you this new form. The Federal Reserve note that in 1933, when the United States of America went bankrupt and became owned by the bankers, and all the folk here became enemies of the so-called state, citizens on their ship under their maritime law. It's right on here, this altar with Washington in the center. On the top of that sacrificial altar is the United States of America, that belief system, that corporation that's owned by others. If you believe in that, you believe you're owned and you are property of that corporation for your energy to be used and sold and traded on the market of that belief that others hold in your potential because you're a slave. Around the corners of this, if you look at the front, the bottom right-hand corner is Earth. Around the one, you'll see at the top, there's some trees. That is the alchemical symbol of Earth. The bottom left-hand corner, around the one, is a wave. That is the alchemical symbol of water. The upper left, a flowing drawing. Smooth flowing lines that curl around is air, because air travels in such a way. And on the upper right corner, the sharp, jagged lines, but still yet flowing with sharp edges, is the fire. It's the alchemical symbol of fire. So they have the four elements. And also in that upper right-hand corner on the fire, on the fire symbol is also the small owl. Of course it's an owl, and of course it's on the fire symbol. Connect your dots. So in the center of those four natural elements of the material world is the altar, of course, yet it's the ether that we all exist in, because all energy in nature is dielectromagnetic. From there, earth, air, fire, and water are formed from that dielectromagnetic energy in whatever form of element it takes. The fifth element, the ether, is what we all exist in that ties it all together, the quintessence that is the element that they left off the list. At the bottom of that altar, of course, maybe for a reason, maybe not, I didn't draw this piece of sigil magic, but there's 8 leaves on either side of the altar, 8 leaves and 8 leaves, 88 Mercury. Connect your dots. On the back, around the two, you see the water flowing around. That is the Admiralty Maritime Law that goes further back. It's Lex Mercatoria, the law merchant. The one on the back, put an M in the front, a Y at the back of the one that spells money, of course. But it is the one eye. Your one eye, your third eye that's been taken over and placed into just a realm of materialism that doesn't understand the basic building block of nature and your own nature, the dielectric magnetic energy of you and your own spirit and your own energy and how you direct it. So you think it's all material, and you think you're on this slave ship. Evidence of it is the birth certificate that none of us were told about what any of that was. I was a weaponized idiot of this belief system, all this structure, because I grew up being taught nothing but this, but not its deeper meaning. For 21 years, I became a weaponized idiot of this system of destruction, of this belief system that spawns endless other belief systems of any label. Any label of division you want to put on it, attach a few of these to it, send it on its way. Let it do its work. All of it is work being done for the ones that create this. The money changers of Babylon. It goes all the way back. That's why there's a pyramid. Novus Adoris Seclorum. The new secular order. All of this is different secular orders, different sects fighting against each other. That spawned from back in Babylon, the Pharisees. The money changers split it up. The moon, the sun, the stars, Isis, Ra, the El, Elohim, Israel. That was created in 1948. There's a pyramid on the back that goes back to the Pharisees, that goes back to the money changers. Started to be built, according to the numbers at the bottom, 1776, of course. When this place was taken over, the indigenous folks slaughtered. And all the descendants thereafter would be a bunch of disconnected folks with no heritage to tie back to. And this pyramid could be built. Israel 1948, why would that be important? Maybe it lines up with the 72 solid bricks in this pyramid. The top brick, the capstone, being that eye. It's not the eye of providence. It is the one eye being bathed in darkness, the dark light. I don't care. It doesn't matter which God, which name you attach to it, whatever your belief system is. If you're tied up in these material beliefs, your eye is in darkness. Your one eye becomes the moan eye of money. Moan, as in one. Your monad, well, your one eye becomes full of darkness, that capstone, but there's 72 solid bricks, so 72. If that top light is Agenda 21, let's say, why not? That's pushed a lot, 21. So that would be the year 2020, 72 solid bricks. If you count those back in years, that would put the base of the pyramid, the first brick at 1948 when Israel was founded after World War II. President Truman, the 33rd, there's 33 again, president, signed the Marshall Plan to rebuild Europe after World War II. That created war funded by the money changers. So yet another order could be built. Because of that plan, the Iron Curtain went up. When the Iron Curtain went up, they could split that eagle looking both ways, being the same beast, but make it play off each other. These are your new enemies. Russia, US now versus each other for the next building of this madness. Which at the 72nd solid brick, it would put it at 2020. We're at 2019 now. So maybe insight better become 2020 real quick so you can get hindsight that is 2020. So then you can have foresight that is 2020. So you can see that what's coming has been planned for a long, long time. And we've all just been played off each other to play in these different banker wars, while now all of these different institutions, government, which means control, mind. But the government, the monarchy, the clergy, the church, the different religions that were set off and split off from the Pharisees into here's your different divisions that your sects can take. The moon, the sun, or the stars, the L. You label it as that. You name your religions that. And we'll keep this game going and going and going. Why do you think the story of the one that fought against the Pharisees is so mocked? Because it's fighting against the money changers that build all these beliefs, that keep all these things going and keep folk disconnected from any true knowing of their own soul and knowing of the Creator. That's what it's for. That's what it's done. The web is all around on the back. It's drawn right in the spider's web that entangles you in this belief. The 13 arrows and the 13 leaves of the olive branch that the eagle, that bird of prey, holds. It is holding your ability to protect yourself and to have peace for yourself. By protect, it's not only to protect yourself physically, but it's to nurture yourself. It's to be able to protect and defend yourself, your loved ones, what you have, against others of other belief systems that would come to harm you based on their belief system. No matter what costume they wear, while they work for this. Those that work for this, that vulture that holds on to those arrows and that olive branch behind that shield, that wall that is the laws in reverse of man's law, of Lex Mercatoria, of law merchant, of the Uniform Commercial Code, of the trust law. Because it started off with God's said so. God's said that we could rule over you. that we are the chosen ones and you are the slaves. So that was ecclesiastic law. And then later that transferred to the monarchy, which then later evolved into different forms of government, which is backed up in these scholarly works of law books like the Talmud, and how Romans 13 was used to codify some of the power of the ecclesiastic law to the monarchy and to the government from that. It's all from the same money changers that control these different things. And now that it's gone through ecclesiastic law, common law, admiralty, maritime law, to this government mind control that now so many have caught on to, it doesn't matter. They're so close now to building their one new secular order of us versus them, of that pyramid being completed and the Pharisees of old returning, and there being a group of chosen ones that God said, we have souls in you, the rest of you, the Goyim, the whatever those that wear those certain labels call others, that think that others only have the souls of animals and that they are less than, and they were put here to serve them because they are the chosen of Isis, Ra, and the Elohim. It's the same Pharisees of old playing the same games, the money changers, the Babylonian money magic, the same alchemy of mind control that's been played out on all of us, assigned whatever label it was assigned and whatever label you chose to believe in and act upon, as I did. I was a weaponized idiot, fool of the indoctrination, of the education, so-called, that I received growing up, of the entertainment that I took in, the entertainment, the mind control programming that was pumped from the psychotronic weapons of these screens that operate on frequencies that were designed to be harmful to the individual physically and psychologically. Deeply, deeply damaging, this programming from this entertainment that's used to enter and entrain, to entertain the mind. Adulthood does not come with age. It's not a number. When I was 39 years old, I realized I was a complete spiritual child, an infant that had no idea that I was physically running around in an adult's body in the physical world, acting like a complete fool, throwing temper tantrums about my indoctrinated belief in what I saw that didn't line up with my indoctrinated beliefs. I would throw little childish temper tantrums like I was programmed to, and continue on about my daily empty, soulless shell of a life. 39 years. And then when I try to get through to others to let them know that you are indeed living that empty, soulless shell of a life because you've been filled with so many toxins right from birth, you had no chance to tell that you were disconnected because you were raised like that, because no one knew any better. My parents didn't when I was born. I didn't when my children were born. Luckily, my other son knew better before his son was born. So we've broken that cycle at least somewhere. Does it matter? I don't know. When the whole world is still locked under the belief system upon belief system upon belief system without realizing the base knowledge you need to know really is Lex Non Scripta, the law not written, natural law, the law that is written into your heart by the Creator. I didn't know it was there for 39 years until I tried to get that insight to be 2020 so I could see the inside of myself and see what I had become, and then realize what I had to change and what I had to come to know rather than believe. All I'd like to do is to help others see that insight needs to become 2020 first. and then gain hindsight that is 2020 by reconciling all the past with the beliefs discarded to see how much damage has been done through all these belief systems by these indoctrinated fools that don't realize they've been fooled yet. It was crushing for me to have to admit it to myself that I had been fooled for so long, that I did a whole career thinking I was playing out a life that was a life, to only realize that it was not a life at all, that I was only a slave. And all I had done was to help that system enslave others and harm others and kill others for that disgusting system of materialistic belief that's been perpetuated on all of us by these same money changers since about 600 BC, but I'm sure it goes back further. But who am I to say? I can't know such things for myself, but I know what I see. In Foresight being 2020, I see this all falling apart quick the way they want whoever they are, these same money changers, to bring in their Pharisees and their new gods and their new one everything system of control. Because why have all these different sects? These different sects of different beliefs when you don't need them anymore. You can wipe most of them away and just be left with a group that only believes in you as you present yourself as whatever you choose to present yourself as, with whatever title. I almost forgot, now that one system. These waters, as they attempt to move this age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius with this witch's brew cauldron of toxins that they've turned all the natural water into by now, it's the Noahide laws. That's the new secular order. That's the us versus them. That's the you are not divine, we are divine. You are the slaves, you are the animals. That's what's coming on the waters next. And it's the same holdouts then from the stories, wouldn't you think? This place was flooded in the times of Noah because of these fallen ones, these fallen stars, the fallen El, the Elohim. And then the ones that were left over reinstituted the same unnatural systems. So why do you think now they want to turn it into just one new secular order under, of course, the Noahide, the hideovers, the hideouts from the times of Noah? They have their own law book for it. That is the Talmud. That is their book of laws. So they'll have an ecclesiastic law all rolled up into a nice ball, all under that one label. I would guess that's why so many in all these different corporate structures, government structures, religious structures, educational institutions, institutions of technology, in industry, all of these different corporations are all now scrambling for how they're going to fit while they try and fleece everyone for all they can before the money changers wipe it all away anyway. See what they have everyone doing to each other as you scramble for title. What will your title be afterwards? What will my title be? Will I be king? Will I be president? Will I be senator? Will I be this, that, or the other? Just put whatever title you want from whatever institution you want, or for whatever institution you were enslaved by and are a slave for at this point in time. The ones above you are all scrambling, trying to find out what their new titles are going to be while this whole ship goes down. Or we all realize these things all at once and we clean the waters and we clean the land and we clear the air of all of these toxins and these poisons that have all been put there by different folk that work for different institutions. Excuse me. All for these, all in different costumes, all with different labels, all with different hierarchical structures of indoctrinated thought and different it's all a bunch of different belief systems, but it's all the same. They're all to keep you from knowing. And until you know that, you don't know anything. So another 33 here for you right at the end. You have 33 vertebrae in your spine. 33 in your spine, the top vertebrae being Atlas. That Atlas that holds the cosmos. Through your spine radiates dielectromagnetic energy. If it's only tied to those 5 vertebrae at low in your spine that are tied to the 5 senses of this material world, and that's the only way you can process things, then your energy is not high enough. You're not vibrating at a high enough frequency for your entire being to become full of light and for you to actually activate your pineal gland and fill it full of light, natural light from the sun, because it is a photoreceptor and it needs your actual physical eyes to get that light into your third eye and to fill your third eye full of light, so your whole being will be full of light. But the important part is for you to find the consciousness of your heart that doesn't need the mind. Once you get there and you feel that and you learn natural law in Lex Non Scripta, that law that is not written because it is written in your heart, and you find the creator and you find what empathy truly means and what it feels like, and you empathetically feel through all the trauma of your past, and you feel empathetically the trauma that's happening everywhere right now, and you see what's going on, you realize real change has to be made by all of us inside first, and then that information to be deeply understood, to be able to be conveyed to others, to let them know that they're being pulled down the path of their own destruction, and they're doing it, loving it, cheering all along the way for whatever idol is put in front of them. Whichever actor, whichever minstrel, whichever jester, whichever sorcerer, whichever fool that'll flash a smile and say some really catchy phrases in some really childish terms, easily understood over and over and over again. Well, they'll just keep presenting them. They'll present them in all their different costumes and different labels, and any label you want to believe in, as long as you keep following them. I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening.